They told you start an SIP and you will be rich. Just 1000 a month and you'll be a crorepati in 20 years. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the problem. It's not the full picture. Because if SIPs really made people rich, why are so many investors frustrated even after 10 years? You have done everything right, chosen a mutual fund, set up an SIP, been consistent, but your money isn't growing the way Instagram promised. Now, you're also wondering, should I stop my SIP? Am I doing something wrong? Is the whole compounding hype a myth? You're not alone and you're not wrong to ask this question. By the way, I'm Nikhil, a chartered accountant. I've spent nearly 2 decades working with EY, PwC, and one of India's top wealth management firms before launching my own startup. And this is Finicky, where we simplify money, no jargon, just truth. In this video, we are going deep. We'll break the biggest myth around SIPs, show you what SIP actually are and are not, and help you understand whether you should pause, fix, or double down. By the end, you will have complete clarity on whether SIPs are working for you or against you. So let's clear the biggest myth first. A SIP is not an investment. It's just a method, a way of investing, not the investment itself. SIP stands for Systematic Investment Plan. All it means is that you're putting a fixed amount of money regularly, typically monthly, in a mutual fund. It doesn't guarantee high returns, it doesn't remove risk, it doesn't make the market less volatile. It just makes you disciplined. That's it. SIPs helps you to average out the price of the mutual fund units over time, which is great, but it doesn't magically turn 500 into 1 crore unless what you're investing is actually performing. So you can do an SIP in an equity fund, debt fund, balance fund, even index fund. But here's the catch. The SIP is only as good as where it's going. If your fund underperforms or doesn't suit your goal or time horizon, your SIP won't help. That's like watering a dead plant regularly. The act is right, the soil is not. So now that you know SIPs aren't magic, let's break down the most promises of them all. The 1 crore SIP dream. Is it real or just math with blindfolds? You've actually seen it all over Instagram, YouTube, and even your friend's WhatsApp status. Just 10,000 a month in an SIP and you will be a crorepati in 20 years. Small amount, big dreams, no stress. Sounds perfect, right? And to be honest, the math actually checks out. 10,000 a month for 20 years is 24 lakhs total invested. At 12% average annual return, that grows to nearly 1 crore, 99.9 lakhs to be exact. But here's the truth that actually gets left out. One, that 12% return isn't guaranteed. Mutual funds are market linked. Some years you might see 18% or more, other years just 3%. Some years you'll actually see negative return, and unless you stay invested through all those ups and downs, the return you actually get won't match the brochure. 2. Inflation quietly kills the dream. At 6% inflation rate, which is actually conservative in India, that 1 crore in 2045 will be worth 31 to 32 lakhs in today's money. You'll still feel happy seeing 7 zeros in your account, but what can it actually buy? A 2 BHK in a tier 2 city? Maybe a luxury car? But it won't make you rich. 3. This assumes you never pause your SIP, never miss a month, and never withdraw during emergency, which, let's be real, many people actually do. So, is the SIP dream fake? Absolutely not, but it's oversold. It's sold like a lottery, and wealth doesn't work that way. SIPs are just tools. They build discipline. They work best when your income actually increases. So increase your SIP amount. Choose the right funds for your goals and stay consistent for decades. It's not about 10k magically turning into 1 crore. It's about who you become over those 20 years. Financially smarter, more stable, and future ready. So let's talk about something that's rarely questioned. The rush to start SIP super early. Scroll through Instagram and you'll see 18 or 19-year-olds proudly announcing, "Started my SIP today, magic of compounding." Now, I love the enthusiasm, I really do. But let's just hit the pause button for a second and ask, what's the hurry? There's so much pressure today to be financially woke the moment you're legally allowed to invest. But actually think about it. At 18, do you have stable income? Do you have clarity on your future plans? Have you built skills that actually earn you money? Or are you just forcing a 500 rupees SIP while surviving on pocket money or part-time jobs just because it feels responsible? Here's what most people forget. Investing is step 4, not step 1. At 18, your focus should actually be on building skills, exploring careers, learning how money, taxes, and incomes actually work in your life, not locking away every rupee into a mutual fund because when emergency hit or life changes and you stop that SIP, you start feeling guilty. You think you have failed at investing when the truth is you just started too early. Think about it. A 5,000 SIP in college feels cool, but a 50,000 salary at 25 because you spent 5 years learning, building and growing? Think about it. That's what actually moves the needle. SIP isn't a badge of honor. It's a tool and it works best after you've built the basics. We will actually talk about those basics in the next section. But remember this, just because you can start young doesn't mean you should start blindly. Before you invest even 1 rupee into SIP, there are 4 elements you must need to get it right. Because without these, your SIP isn't building wealth, it's just adding pressure. Step 1. Build high income skill. At 18 or 20, your priority should be to increasing your income potential, explore, learn, make mistakes. Take courses, intern, freelance, experiment. Because here's a fact that most people ignore. Income is your biggest wealth building engine. A 5,000 SIP sounds great, but a 50,000 salary bump because of a new skill, that gives you the power to invest more, save more, and breathe easier. Step 2. Get stable income. Before you commit to a monthly SIP, ask yourself, can I keep this going for 2 years without stress? If your income is irregular or still forming, it's smarter to focus on stabilizing your cash flow first. SIP is a long-term game, not something you start and stop every 3 months. Step 3. Emergency fund. Life is unpredictable. One hospital bill, job loss, or an urgent family expense, your SIP gets paused or even worse, withdrawn at a loss. That's why before investing, you need an emergency fund. At least 6 months of your basic expenses. This gives you breathing room and protects your investment when life throws a curveball. Step 4. Health insurance. Sounds boring, right? But this is actually the wealth protector. You can grow your mutual fund corpus for 5 years and one unexpected medical emergency can wipe it all. Health insurance isn't optional, it's step 0. Get these 4 right and your SIP won't just be a financial habit, it'll become part of a strong, stable, resilient financial plan. Next, I'll show you how to do SIP the right way, smart, scalable and goal-driven. 1. Start with a goal, not just a number. Most people say, I'll just invest 5,000 every month and see what happens. That's not wealth building, that's guesswork. Instead, ask yourself, what am I investing for? Is it for a house? Is it for retirement, kids' education, travel? What's the timeline that I'm looking for? What's my risk appetite? All these are questions that one needs to answer. Once you answer that, you can choose a fund that fits. Equity for long term, debt or hybrid for short term. Your SIP should be goal-driven and not guilt-driven. 2. Grow your SIP as you grow. This is one of the most underrated strategy. Let's say you start with 10,000 per month SIP. If you increase it by just 10% every year, the same way your salary grows, you massively boost your long-term wealth. So let's take an example. A flat 10,000 per month SIP for 20 years at 12% return gives you 76 lakhs. But you top it up 10% annually, that grows to 1.2 crores. Small increases but big difference. 3. Automate. But don't ignore SIPs just because it's automatic. You don't need to time the market, it removes emotions. But don't just invest and forget forever. Every 6 months, do a calm review. Is your fund still aligned with your goals? Has it been underperforming for more than a year? Has your financial situations changed? Small course correction keep the journey on track. So here's a $1 million question. Should you stop your SIP? Here's my honest answer. If you are investing in the wrong fund, if you have no goal, if your SIP has stayed flat for 5 years, if you are blindly following a trend without understanding your risk, then yes, pause. Take a step back, fix it. If you've got your emergency fund and insurance in place, if you are increasing your SIPs each year, then no, don't stop. In fact, double down. Because wealth isn't built in moments, it's actually built in momentum. And SIPs aren't a shortcut, they are a system. They won't make you rich overnight, but they'll make you consistently wealthier over time. Not by magic, but just by discipline. And if you're still in your early 20s feeling guilty because you haven't started your SIPs yet, just relax. It's never too late to start investing. Your first few years should be about learning, living, and exploring, not forcing yourself into financial FOMO. Travel, try, fail, and grow. Because when you start investing, it'll come from strength, not from stress. So here's my question to you. When did you start your first SIP? Do you think you started too early or maybe too late? Tell me in the comments. That's it from me. I'm Nikhil Verghese. Share this video and hit subscribe to make your finances less tricky with Finicky.